They asked the galaxy for help, but humanity's Deathworlders came. From the highest peaks, the cities below glowed like tiny stars, a network of shimmering lights amidst the darkening plains. But beneath the beauty there was unease, a heavy tension that pulsed through the streets, echoed in the markets, and lingered in every hall of the government. The planet had always been peaceful. For centuries, the Zentarians had lived in harmony with their world, cultivating crops, raising families, and exploring the skies in slow, careful expansion. But now that peace was shattered. The predators had come. They were not mere animals. They were cunning, fast, and adaptive, evolving with every encounter. When the Zentarians first fought back, they thought they understood the creatures. But every victory was temporary, every strategy was countered. Within weeks, entire settlements had been wiped out. Panic spread faster than the predators themselves. In the heart of the capital, a massive council chamber held the last hope of the planet's leaders. They were a mixture of scholars, generals, and scientists, all gathered around a holographic map of the world. Red dots flickered across the surface, marking predator attacks. The map seemed alive with danger, a constant reminder of how fragile their civilization had become. "Another wave at the eastern plains," said Counselor Riella, her voice trembling. "If we don't act, the settlement at Harridan will fall tonight. We can't hold them any longer." General Verk slammed his fist on the table. "We've tried everything, every weapon, every defense line. The predators adapt faster than we can think. Our armies are stretched too thin." A soft, steady voice interrupted. It was Luminara, the planet's chief scientist. "Perhaps we are looking at this the wrong way. Our defenses rely on control, on predictability. But these creatures are unpredictable. Maybe we need help from beyond, from the galaxy." The chamber fell silent. The idea was not new, but the thought of asking other civilizations for help carried risks. The Zentarians were proud, independent. Their history was one of self-reliance. To plead for aid was almost shameful, but the alternative, destruction, was worse. "Send the signal," Verk said finally, his eyes hard but resolute. "If any species in this galaxy can help us, we need them now. We cannot survive alone." Within hours, a high-frequency message was broadcast. It cut through the silence of space like a flare. The message was simple yet desperate. Zentarian Prime seeks aid against an unstoppable predator. Any civilization capable of assisting is urged to respond. Days passed, weeks passed. At first, there was no response. The galaxy was vast, and the Zentarians had little knowledge of other worlds' priorities. The silence was deafening. When occasional responses came, they were bureaucratic, vague, or polite refusals. "We sympathize," said one message from a distant council. "But our resources are committed elsewhere," another said. "We advise evacuation rather than conflict." Hope began to fade. Children asked their parents why the predators kept attacking. Elders whispered about the world ending. Even the government began to lose confidence. And then, unexpectedly, a new signal arrived. It was unlike anything the Zentarians had encountered. The transmission was encoded with strange symbols and patterns, not typical diplomatic formatting. When decrypted, the message was short and blunt. "We have received your call. Help is on the way. Prepare for arrival. Humanity coming." "Humanity?" Counselor Riella asked, eyebrows raised. "I've read the records. Humans, they are known for their extreme environments. They thrive on worlds that would kill us." General Verk frowned. "They are dangerous. Reports say their Deathworlders survive where no one else can. Their tactics are unpredictable. Are we sure we want this?" The signal repeated, almost as if impatient. "Prepare. We arrive in 3 rotations of your planet's largest moon." Luminara leaned forward, studying the message. "They could be what we need, or they could be something else entirely. But at this point, we cannot afford hesitation. We must prepare." Across the planet, preparations began. Zentarian engineers strengthened cities, stockpiled supplies, and mapped out the worst-affected areas. Soldiers trained for the coming arrivals, but even the bravest hearts were nervous. They had heard rumors about human Deathworlders, how they faced deadly planets without fear, tamed wild beasts, and turned hostile landscapes into fortresses. To have them as allies was both thrilling and terrifying. The moons of Zentarian Prime cast long shadows across the land when the first fleet arrived. From the darkness of space, ships descended, each unlike any other the Zentarians had seen. Sleek, angular, and strong, they moved with precision. As the craft touched down, dust and debris swirled around them. The Zentarians watched in awe as doors opened, revealing humans stepping onto the soil. These humans were unlike anyone the Zentarians had imagined. Their armor was rugged but functional, designed for harsh environments. Their eyes were sharp, scanning the horizon with a mix of curiosity and calculation. Weapons were carried openly, but not with aggression, only readiness, and the humans did not speak immediately. They observed first. Luminara stepped forward, her voice trembling but firm. "Welcome, humans. We are grateful for your aid." A tall human with a scar across his cheek spoke, his voice calm and commanding. "We heard your call. We came because your world is in danger. We do not negotiate here. We act. Show us the threats." The council shivered. There was no diplomacy in that tone, only certainty. Yet in that certainty there was a promise that the Zentarians could survive. Over the next few hours, the humans surveyed the planet. They moved quickly, inspecting cities, forests, and the open plains where predator attacks were heaviest. Every movement seemed purposeful, every decision precise. The Zentarians began to see why these humans were feared and revered. They adapted to every new challenge, improvising solutions that defied conventional strategy. By nightfall, the first plan was in place. The humans outlined a defensive perimeter unlike any the Zentarians had attempted. Living rock barriers, energy traps, and mobile patrols combined in a system that leveraged the planet's natural features while minimizing risk to civilians. Soldiers trained under human supervision, learning techniques that were unconventional but effective. Even the children were inspired, watching humans climb cliffs, tame aggressive beasts, and strategize with calm determination. For the first time in weeks, the Zentarians felt hope. The predators had been relentless, but with these humans here there was a chance, perhaps the first true chance, that they could survive. As the twin suns rose again, casting light across a world bracing for its fight, the humans stood silent on a high ridge, watching the plains below. Their expressions were unreadable, but the energy they radiated was unmistakable. They had faced worse worlds than this one, and yet they came, not as conquerors, not as saviors in robes, but as warriors of survival, forged by planets that killed everything weaker than themselves. The council exchanged glances. For all their technology, for all their knowledge, for all their pride, the Zentarians realized one simple truth. Humanity, especially these Deathworlders, was unlike anything they had ever known. And in the coming days, that difference would decide the fate of their entire species. The morning after the humans arrived, Zentarian Prime was alive with cautious energy. News of their presence had spread across the planet in hours. In every village, town, and city, citizens whispered about the humans, the Deathworlders who had stepped onto their soil without fear. The legends were true, it seemed. These were not ordinary helpers. These were beings who thrived where others perished. From the capital, Luminara observed the human team through a field telescope. The humans had split into groups, moving across the plains where predator attacks had been most frequent. They carried tools and weapons that seemed alien even to her trained eyes. Some were mechanical devices that hummed with energy, others were cages and nets that pulsed as if alive. The humans moved like a single organism, each action purposeful, each gesture calculated. Counselor Riella arrived, her expression a mixture of awe and worry. "They are unlike anything we expected," she said. "Do you think they can really help us?" Luminara did not answer immediately. She had spent her life studying the predators, their biology, and their hunting strategies. But the humans, these humans, were something else. "I don't know," she admitted, "but I do know they will act. They do not hesitate, and that may be our only chance." The humans reached the eastern plains first, where the predators had destroyed nearly half of the Haradan settlement. Broken buildings, scorched fields, and abandoned farms marked the devastation. The humans did not flinch. They split into teams, each moving with precision. Some examined the terrain, noting hidden dangers. Others approached the predator's tracks, observing patterns, rhythms, and weaknesses. A tall human with a braided ponytail, clearly the leader of this group, crouched by a set of claw marks in the soil. He traced them carefully with gloved fingers. "They hunt in packs," he said aloud, not to the Zentarians but to his team. "Coordinated, adaptive, they expect fear, we won't give it." Nearby, another human worked with a small machine that hummed and clicked. From it, a thin stream of light projected onto the ground, revealing hidden predator burrows. "Mapping complete," the human reported, We know where they sleep. Now we control the fight. Zentarian soldiers watched with amazement. Their most experienced generals had studied the predators for years, yet these humans were discovering things they had never seen. Even the way they handled their tools was precise, efficient, almost elegant. But there was an edge to them, a raw, almost dangerous energy that suggested they were comfortable in danger. By midday, the humans had set up the first defensive perimeter. Unlike anything the Zentarians had tried, it combined technology, biology, and terrain in a way that made the predators' usual tactics useless. Barriers made from living rock rose along the plains, absorbing impacts without collapsing. Electrified nets hung invisibly among the trees, designed to trap anything that tried to move through them. Mechanical beasts, half robot, half organic, patrolled the perimeter, scanning for movement. One of the Zentarian generals, Verk, could not hide his astonishment. "They've built more in one day than we could in a month," he muttered. "And it works. Already the predators hesitate." As the humans worked, they began training local soldiers. The Zentarians were skilled, disciplined, and brave, but their methods were slow, cautious, and predictable. The humans taught them new techniques: how to move silently across rough terrain, how to anticipate predator behavior, and most importantly, how to remain calm under pressure. Even children were taught basic survival skills, turning fear into confidence. While the training continued, the human scouts reported unusual predator behavior. The creatures were beginning to adapt, approaching the humans cautiously, testing defenses but avoiding direct confrontation. The humans did not panic. Instead, they adjusted their strategy, reinforcing weak points and setting traps that used predator instincts against them. By evening, the first engagement occurred. A small predator pack attempted to breach the outer perimeter. Zentarian soldiers tensed, ready to fire, but the humans motioned them back. The humans took the lead. Using a combination of clever traps, coordinated movement, and improvised weapons, the humans lured the predators into a narrow gorge. There, mechanical beasts blocked the escape routes, while nets and barriers immobilized the attackers. Within hours, the predators were contained without unnecessary loss of life. The Zentarians watched in disbelief. These humans had fought not with brute force alone, but with ingenuity, strategy, and courage. That night, the humans gathered around a small fire, reviewing the day's events. One of them spoke to Luminara, a calm woman with short, cropped hair. "Your people are brave," she said. "They just need guidance. Fear makes the smart make mistakes. Confidence makes the strong," Luminara nodded. "They are willing to learn, but your methods, they are different, dangerous, but effective." The human smiled faintly. "Different is the point. If we do what everyone else does, your predators will win. We do what's necessary. Sometimes that's enough." Over the next days, the humans' influence spread across the planet. Zentarian engineers worked alongside them, adapting local materials into weapons and defenses. Farmers learned to cultivate crops that could survive predator attacks, and hunters were taught to track predators with precision, predicting movements before they happened. Yet not all humans were in the capital or plains. Some explored distant forests, deserts, and mountains. They discovered the predators' nests, their hidden pathways, and even their breeding grounds. Using their knowledge, they created plans not only to defend settlements, but to strike strategically at predator populations, reducing their numbers before attacks could happen. The aliens watched, amazed. "They are not just helping us survive," Counselor Riella said. "They are teaching us to fight, to adapt, to think like they do." But the humans were not complacent. Each night, they reported back to the leader with careful notes and observations. "The predators are learning," he said. "Tomorrow they will change their tactics. We must be ready to change faster." And change they did. When the next predator wave came, it was unlike any before. The creatures moved with coordination, avoiding traps and attacking from unexpected angles. Zentarian soldiers panicked at first, unsure how to respond, but the humans remained calm. "Stay focused," the leader commanded. "Predict, adapt, control, move as one." The battle began. Humans led the soldiers, each step calculated. Traps triggered at perfect timing, barriers guided predators into kill zones, and mechanical beasts intercepted the strongest attackers. Even as the predators adapted, the humans anticipated their moves, turning each challenge into an advantage. By the end of the day, the predators had retreated. Not all were killed, But the survivors had learned that this world was defended in ways they could not overcome. For the first time, Zentarian Prime had hope. That night, under a sky bright with stars, Luminara spoke to the council. These humans, they are different, not just in strength, but in mind. They see what we cannot, anticipate what we do not. Perhaps with them we can survive. General Verk, still exhausted from the battle, nodded slowly. Different, yes. Dangerous, yes. But also necessary. If they stay, we have a chance. If they leave, I don't even want to imagine. Meanwhile, the humans gathered quietly, discussing the next steps. Tomorrow we push them back further, the leader said. We don't just defend, we reclaim. The predators must know they are not welcome here. And so the cycle began. Each day brought new challenges, new predator tactics, and new human strategies. With every encounter, the Zentarians learned, adapted, and grew stronger. Fear turned into confidence, despair into hope. Yet deep in the forests and mountains, beyond the reach of even the humans, the predators were not idle. They studied, observed, and waited. For every victory won, they learned. For every strategy foiled, they adapted. The coming battles would be harder, more dangerous, and more unpredictable than anything the humans or the Zentarians had yet faced. But one truth remained. With the humans here, the planet had a chance. Not just to survive, but to fight back. And in the galaxy, where civilizations often fell without warning, that chance was priceless. As the twin moons rose, casting pale light across a world preparing for war, the humans stood on a ridge once more. Calm, vigilant, and unafraid, the Deathworlders had arrived. And for the first time, Zentarian Prime felt it might endure. The sun rose over Zentarian Prime, casting golden light across the fortified plains. The humans had settled into a rhythm, moving swiftly between the cities and the outskirts, training soldiers, mapping predator territories, and strengthening defenses. For the Zentarians, every day brought a new lesson. They admired the humans' courage, skill, and ingenuity, yet unease lingered beneath the admiration. The first clash of cultures began quietly, almost imperceptibly. Zentarian officials noticed the humans did not follow formal protocols. Meetings were short, commands were blunt, and discussions often ended abruptly with immediate action. Diplomacy, a core part of Zentarian society, seemed almost meaningless to the humans. Counselor Riella, speaking before the council, admitted her concern. They save lives, yes. But they do not explain their methods. They do not wait for our approval. How can we trust a force that does not follow our rules? General Verk's jaw tightened. Trust, we survive because of them. Rules are secondary when the predator strikes. Their ways are unconventional but effective. In the field, the tension became more apparent. Zentarian soldiers trained under human supervision often found themselves frustrated. Humans demanded quick thinking, improvisation, and self-reliance, qualities the disciplined Zentarian soldiers had not fully mastered. Mistakes were corrected harshly, and hesitation was punished, though never unfairly. One squad struggled to set up a defensive trap. The humans watched silently as the soldiers debated each step. Finally, a young human woman stepped forward. "Stop talking," she commanded. "Do it my way, now." The soldiers followed her instructions, and the trap worked perfectly, capturing a small predator pack before it could reach the settlement. The soldiers stared in awe. "They are harsh," one muttered, "but they know what works." In the capital, scientists and engineers also felt the cultural strain. The humans insisted on working directly in the field, ignoring laboratory protocols or careful simulations. "Real results come from real conditions," one human explained simply. "Theories are worthless if they fail in the field." Luminara, though fascinated, was uneasy. "They are teaching us through action," she admitted. "But they leave little room for discussion or debate. Our people are uncomfortable with this abruptness." Even among the civilians, there was tension. Farmers and traders, accustomed to slow, careful routines, were now expected to move quickly, adapt constantly, and accept the humans' bold methods. Some were inspired, while others were intimidated. Children watched the humans climb cliffs, tame wild beasts, and manipulate strange devices that captured predators instantly. Some were thrilled, dreaming of becoming like the humans. Others were fearful, unsure if such methods were safe or appropriate. Despite the friction, results were undeniable. The predators adapted quickly, but the humans adapted faster. Patrol routes, traps, and defenses evolved daily. Each day the planet grew safer, each day more territory was reclaimed. One afternoon, a young Zentarian scout, Cairo, approached the humans with hesitation. "I don't understand your methods," he admitted. "They seem reckless. How can you risk so much?" A human crouched beside him, examining predator tracks. "Reckless is seeing danger and doing nothing. We take risks, yes, but calculated risks. We study, prepare, and act. Fear slows us. Confidence makes us unstoppable." Cairo frowned but nodded. Slowly, he began to see the pattern. Humans did not act blindly. Every daring move was backed by knowledge, observation, and strategy. They thrived in chaos, turning danger into advantage. While these lessons unfolded, tensions rose between the Zentarian Council and the human leader, a tall man named Kale. The council wished for detailed reports, formal plans, and diplomatic updates. Kale's response was simple: action speaks louder than words. During a council meeting, the clash reached its peak. Councilor Riella pressed for detailed strategies before the next engagement. Kale leaned forward, voice calm but firm. "Your plans are too slow. The predators will strike before you finish discussing. We act first, explain later. That is how survival works." Some council members bristled. "We cannot simply act without discussion," one protested. "We must maintain order, law, and procedure." Kale shook his head. "Law and procedure are valuable until they cost lives. Then they become chains. Do not let your pride blind you to reality." For hours, debate continued. Finally, Verk intervened. "Enough. The humans save lives. Their methods are unconventional, yes, but our people are alive. That is proof enough. We adapt or perish. Your choice is yours, counselors." The humans did not seem offended. They respected results more than words. For them, survival was a language everyone understood. Over the next days, the clash of cultures continued in subtle ways. Zentarians valued patience, humans valued speed. Zentarians preferred careful calculations, humans relied on intuition. Zentarians sought consensus, humans acted decisively. Yet each day, the differences became less of a problem. Slowly, the Zentarians began to understand. The humans' methods were strange only because they were unfamiliar. The humans' confidence, boldness, and creativity were tools the Zentarians could learn to wield themselves. One particularly harsh day, a massive predator swarm attacked the northern settlements. Thousands of creatures descended in coordinated waves, faster and more intelligent than anything previously seen. Panic gripped the residents. Soldiers prepared their defenses, but hesitation slowed them. Kale and his team acted immediately. "Split into teams," he ordered. "Block the north ridge, secure the farms, defend the water source." Zentarian soldiers followed, trying to match the humans' speed. The predators hit the first line, but the humans' traps worked flawlessly. Mechanical beasts intercepted the strongest attackers, while nets and barriers immobilized others. Zentarian troops watched, learning instinctively how to anticipate predator behavior, mimic the humans' precision, and adjust to rapidly changing circumstances. Amid the chaos, one human saved a group of children trapped in a collapsing building. Moving with impossible speed, she lifted beams, led them through hidden passages, and guided them to safety. Civilians cheered, while Zentarian soldiers struggled to keep up. By nightfall, the predator swarm had retreated. Losses were minimal, and the humans had shown the Zentarians the power of rapid adaptation, decisive action, and fearless leadership. Exhausted but alive, the Zentarians finally began to see the value in embracing the humans' approach. That evening, Luminara walked among the human campfires, watching the team clean and repair their equipment. "They are harsh but brilliant," she murmured to Kale. "Your methods are difficult for us to accept, yet impossible to ignore." Kale smiled faintly. "You learn by doing, not by watching. Fear teaches caution, but action teaches survival. Your people are beginning to understand. Soon they will not just follow, they will anticipate." Meanwhile, tensions between cultures began to shift. The Zentarians realized that what once seemed reckless was actually genius. Their soldiers became faster, smarter, and more adaptable. Scientists experimented with bold ideas in the field. Civilians practiced new survival techniques, and even children became observant and brave. The humans had not only defended the planet, they had changed it. Yet the clash was not over. Some council members still questioned the humans' abruptness, their disregard for protocol, and their blunt ways. Others embraced the change, seeing it as necessary to survive. The debates continued, but they no longer distracted from the urgent task at hand, protecting the planet. One day, Kale called a meeting with both humans and Zentarian leaders. "The predators are adapting," he said. "Every day they learn more. If we rely only on what we know, we will lose. But if we combine your knowledge with our methods, we can teach the predators that this world is not theirs to conquer." The council listened carefully. Slowly, they began to see the truth. Survival depended not only on courage, skill, and strength, but on the willingness to change, adapt, and embrace new ways. The humans' culture of decisive action and calculated risk was not a threat to Zentarian traditions. It was a complement. As the sun set, painting the skies with streaks of red and purple, the humans and Zentarians stood together on the plains, observing the distant forests where predators were gathering. Differences remained, language, habits, values, but a shared purpose united them: survival. And that unity, forged through conflict and cooperation, would shape the battles to come. In the quiet hours before night, Luminara spoke to herself, watching the humans prepare for the next day's patrols. "They are not just warriors," she thought. "They are teachers, leaders, and catalysts. They challenge us, push us, and make us stronger. If we survive this, it will not be by our old ways alone, but by embracing theirs." Far across the northern ridge, Kale and his team surveyed the horizon, silent and vigilant. Their faces were calm, their eyes sharp. They had seen worse than Zentarian Prime. They had faced worlds where nothing survived, yet here on this strange, beautiful planet, they had found a challenge and an opportunity. The Deathworlders had arrived, and the galaxy would soon learn that humans did not just survive. They transformed everything they touched. The morning air on Zentarian Prime was tense, thick with anticipation. Even the wind seemed to carry warnings as humans and Zentarians alike prepared for the day ahead. The predator forces, once scattered and disorganized, had been regrouping. Scouts reported unusual movement patterns. Packs were forming larger hunting groups, coordinating attacks more precisely than ever before. The humans had warned of this. Kale, the human leader, stood on a high ridge with his team, overlooking the northern plains. "They've learned," he said simply. "Today it won't be easy. Stay sharp, trust each other, move as one." Zentarian soldiers, now trained under human supervision, nodded nervously. Confidence had grown, yes, but this would be the ultimate test. The largest predator swarm yet was approaching, a tidal wave of claws, teeth, and raw intelligence. Every settlement could be at risk. By mid-morning, the first shadows appeared on the horizon. Thousands of predators emerged from the forests, their movements precise and purposeful. Unlike previous attacks, there was no hesitation, no wandering. The swarm moved like a single living organism, spreading across the plains with deadly intent. "Hold your lines," Kale shouted. Humans and Zentarians alike formed defensive positions. Mechanical beasts and traps hummed to life. Nets, energy fields, and barriers were deployed at breakneck speed. Civilians were evacuated to safe zones, guided by both human and Zentarian teams. The predators struck with force. The first wave hit the northern ridge, testing the defenses. Zentarian soldiers fired cautiously, but Kale's team moved between lines, directing them with swift, decisive commands. Traps triggered perfectly, slowing the predators' advance. A group of humans used engineered beasts, creatures bred for speed and strength, to intercept attackers. The Zentarians watched in awe as these hybrids leaped into packs of predators, neutralizing the strongest without unnecessary loss of life. It was strategy and precision combined, a lesson in survival under extreme pressure. Yet the swarm was clever. The predators adapted quickly, avoiding traps and seeking weak points. One massive predator, taller and stronger than the rest, charged at the eastern barrier. Zentarian soldiers faltered, unsure how to respond. Kale acted immediately. "Flank it," he shouted. "Left team, draw it toward the net. Right team, hit its legs. Now." The soldiers hesitated for only a moment before moving. The predator lunged, misjudged the trap, and became entangled in the net. Mechanical beasts immobilized it, and Kale signaled the squad to finish the task. The predator was defeated without the line breaking, a perfect demonstration of combined human strategy and Zentarian execution. Meanwhile, across the plains, other humans led squads in counterattacks. They used terrain to their advantage, funneling predators into narrow valleys where traps and mechanical beasts could neutralize them efficiently. Fires were controlled carefully to block paths without endangering civilians. The Zentarians observed, learning not just tactics but the human's mindset, anticipation, adaptation, and fearlessness. But the predators did not give up. A second wave attacked from the forest edge, using high-speed aerial creatures to strike from above. Zentarian archers tried to defend, but many were thrown off balance. Humans responded immediately. Using portable launchers, they neutralized the flying predators and trained Zentarian soldiers to anticipate aerial attacks. One young Zentarian, Myra, watched in disbelief. "They think of everything," she whispered. "Every possibility, every danger. It's like they can see the predators' minds." "Not minds," Kale corrected quietly. "Patterns, predictable behaviors. Survival is reading and responding, not guessing." By afternoon, the battle reached its peak. The largest predator group, numbering in hundreds, attacked the central plains where civilians had been relocated. Panic spread, but the humans were calm. "Form circles," Kale ordered. "Keep civilians in the center. Surround them with barriers and train fighters. No panic, no hesitation." Zentarian soldiers executed the maneuver under human guidance. Barriers rose quickly, nets snapped into place, and mechanical beasts patrolled the perimeter. The predators lunged repeatedly, but each assault was countered with precision. In one critical moment, a predator breached the outer circle, charging toward the civilians. A human soldier acted without hesitation, intercepting the creature with a combination of strength and strategy. He subdued it long enough for the Zentarian soldiers to secure the perimeter. Civilians screamed and ran, but the humans remained calm, guiding them safely. Even as exhaustion set in, the humans never faltered. They rotated positions, reassessed strategies, and adapted to the predators' new approaches. Kale observed carefully, adjusting plans in real time. The swarm, once confident and aggressive, began to hesitate, unsure how to breach the defenses. By sunset, the final predator wave was repelled. Many predators were captured or eliminated, others retreated back into the forests, learning that Zentarian Prime was no longer an easy target. The humans had transformed the planet's defense strategy entirely. The Zentarians celebrated cautiously. They were alive. Their cities had survived. The predators had been pushed back, but the humans did not celebrate. They repaired traps, tended to mechanical beasts, and assessed damages with meticulous care. Survival required constant vigilance, and there was no time to rest. Luminara approached Kale as he examined a defensive perimeter. "You saved countless lives today," she said softly. "Your methods, they are frightening but effective." Kale shook his head. "Not frightening, necessary. The predators adapt quickly. If we do not stay ahead, they will return stronger. Today's victory is only temporary. We must keep learning." The council met that evening to review the battle. Some members remained uneasy with the humans' unconventional methods, but all acknowledged the undeniable results. "We owe our survival to them," Verk admitted. "They have changed how we fight, how we think. If this continues, we may not only survive, we may thrive." In the aftermath, the humans taught the Zentarians one more lesson: observation and prediction. Teams were sent into forests to study predator behavior, track movements, and anticipate attacks before they occurred. Using data gathered from the battlefield, they adjusted traps, patrols, and defensive lines daily. The planet's defenses were now dynamic, evolving constantly in response to predator adaptation. Children who had once hidden in fear now practiced emergency drills, learning how to seek safe zones and avoid danger. Civilians understood evacuation routes, warning signals, and survival tactics. Even the elderly participated, helping maintain traps and shelters. Humanity's influence was reshaping the culture of the planet, teaching courage, preparation, and resilience. But not all lessons were easy. Some predators proved cleverer than expected. A lone giant predator managed to slip past the outer defenses and attack a small village. Humans and soldiers responded quickly, but the village suffered damage before the threat was neutralized. Kale used the incident as a teaching moment. "Failures are lessons," he explained to the Zentarians. "The predator is clever, yes, but we are cleverer. Study what went wrong, adapt, and prepare. Never assume victory is permanent." Over the next several rotations, humans and Zentarians worked tirelessly, fortifying cities, strengthening defenses, and preparing for further attacks. Each day brought new strategies, new collaborations, and deeper understanding. The Zentarians were learning more than survival. They were learning resilience, adaptability, and ingenuity. At night under the twin moons, Kale and his team reflected on the day's events. "They are learning," Kale said, watching the Zentarian soldiers practice drills. "They are adapting fast. Soon they will think like us, act like us, survive like us, and then this world will be theirs to protect." Luminara, standing beside him, nodded. "They have already changed everything. Even those of us who doubted them, we see the truth now. Humanity's methods are harsh, yes, but brilliant. If anyone can save this planet, it is them and us together." As the night deepened, distant roars echoed from the forests. The predators were not gone. They had learned, adapted, and regrouped. The coming battles would be more dangerous, more unpredictable, and more terrifying than anything Zentarian Prime had faced so far. Yet for the first time in generations, the Zentarians felt hope. The humans, the Deathworlders, had arrived. They had taught courage, strategy, and adaptation. And when the predators struck again, Zentarian Prime would be ready. The dawn on Zentarian Prime brought an unusual calm. The air was crisp, and the cities gleamed in the soft light of the twin suns. For the first time in weeks, the planet felt quiet, not peaceful but watchful. Humans and Zentarians alike were preparing for what everyone knew was coming. The predators would return, stronger and smarter than before. Kale stood on a ridge overlooking the plains, surveying the forests where the predators had regrouped. His eyes were sharp, calm, and unyielding. Beside him, Luminara and Counselor Riella observed the same terrain, each aware that the coming battle would decide the fate of Zentarian Prime. "They've learned a lot," Luminara said quietly. "But so have we, and so have you," Kale nodded. "Adaptation is survival. They adapt to survive, we adapt to protect. Today we'll test everything we've built." Across the northern plains, human teams coordinated with Zentarian soldiers, civilians, and engineers. Fortifications had grown into massive structures, combining technology, terrain, and biology. Living rock barriers absorbed the impact of predator attacks, mechanical beasts patrolled the perimeter, and energy nets covered every vulnerable approach. But the humans were not content with merely defending. They planned to strike strategically, taking the fight to the predators' lairs. Scouts had located the main nest deep in the mountains, a dark, dangerous place where predators bred and strategized. Kale and his team believed that only by targeting the source could Zentarian Prime hope to end the constant attacks. "Today, we fight not just to survive," Kale said to the gathered forces. "We fight to reclaim this world. We fight to show the predators that they cannot conquer us." The predators struck just after midday. Thousands charged across the plains, their numbers overwhelming, their coordination precise. Yet the humans were ready. Traps activated instantly, barriers absorbed impacts, and mechanical beasts intercepted the deadliest attackers. Zentarian soldiers had learned well, moving confidently alongside the humans, predicting predator behavior, and executing complex maneuvers that had been impossible weeks ago. Despite the preparations, the predators were relentless. One massive pack breached the central defenses, scattering civilians and soldiers alike. Kale reacted immediately, signaling for counter-assault teams to converge. "Focus on control points," he shouted. "Divide them, isolate them, neutralize." Teams of humans and Zentarians worked in perfect harmony. Predators were funneled into narrow valleys where energy nets immobilized them. Mechanical beasts engaged in precise strikes, targeting the strongest and fastest. Civilians were guided to safety with calm precision, a stark contrast to the chaos around them. Amid the battle, a young Zentarian soldier, Myra, fought alongside a human partner. Together, they anticipated predator movements, countering attacks with speed and accuracy. Myra marveled at how quickly she had learned, how her instincts now aligned with the humans. "I feel capable," she thought, "like I can face anything now." While the front line held, Kale led a strike team toward the predator nest. The path was treacherous, filled with traps, natural hazards, and smaller predator packs. Yet the humans moved confidently, overcoming each obstacle with skill, intelligence, and unwavering determination. Reaching the nest, they found it vast, an underground labyrinth filled with eggs, predators, and dangerous terrain. Kale's team coordinated silently, setting traps, marking escape routes, and preparing for a controlled strike. The humans' expertise turned the dangerous environment into a battlefield they could control. The strike began. Predators defending the nest were caught in coordinated traps and mechanical assaults. Humans moved with lethal precision, neutralizing threats without unnecessary risk to one another. Zentarian soldiers followed, applying everything they had learned in the past weeks. For the first time, they fought as equals with the humans, not as students but as capable partners. Hours passed. The nest was cleared, the predator leaders eliminated, and the remaining predators scattered into the forests. The humans did not celebrate. There was always the chance of return. But Zentarian Prime was safe, for now, and the victory was undeniable. Back on the plains, civilians emerged from shelters, cheering, hugging, and praising the soldiers and humans alike. Children ran toward the humans, eyes wide with admiration and excitement. The humans responded with calm smiles, their presence reassuring, their demeanor steady. They had not come to conquer or rule, they had come to protect, to teach, to guide. Kale addressed the gathered crowd. Today you fought with courage, wisdom, and heart. You have defended your world, learned to adapt, and proved that no threat can break you. This planet is yours to protect. Keep learning, keep adapting, and you will thrive. Luminara spoke next, her voice filled with emotion. These humans, these Deathworlders, have changed us. They have shown us that survival is not about fear, but about courage. Not about rules, but about adaptability. Not about waiting for safety, but about creating it. Counselor Riella, once hesitant, now nodded in agreement. We asked the galaxy for help, expecting diplomats or scientists. Instead, we received teachers and warriors. Humanity has left a mark on our people that will last generations. Over the next few cycles, the humans trained Zentarian forces further. Defensive strategies were refined, predator behaviors were studied in detail, and emergency response drills became routine. The Zentarians grew stronger, more confident, and more independent. They learned to act decisively, to adapt quickly, and to embrace challenges instead of fearing them. The humans also worked with engineers and scientists to repair the damaged settlements, restore farmland, and improve city infrastructure. They taught practical solutions that combined technology with nature, creating defenses and systems that would allow the planet to thrive even without constant human supervision. One evening, Kale gathered his team. "Our work here is done," he said. "The planet can defend itself now. Your people are strong, brave, and clever. If the predators return, they will be ready. We leave you with tools, knowledge, and courage. That is the greatest gift we can give." The Zentarians, now confident in their own strength, expressed gratitude and respect. "You did not just save us," Luminara said. "You changed us. You taught us to survive, to adapt, and to thrive. Humanity's legacy will live here for generations." As the human fleet prepared to depart, the Zentarians watched in awe. Ships rose into the sky with precision, engines humming softly against the evening air. The humans had arrived suddenly, acted decisively, and transformed the fate of an entire civilization. Even as the humans left, their presence remained. Training manuals, defense systems, and modified landscapes bore the mark of their ingenuity. Children practiced techniques learned from the humans. Soldiers moved with new confidence. The planet itself had been changed, becoming stronger, more resilient, and more prepared than ever before. Kale, aboard the lead ship, looked down at the planet one last time. "They will survive," he said quietly. "Not because we were here, but because they learned how to fight, how to think, how to adapt. That is the essence of survival. That is humanity's legacy." In the skies above, Zentarian Prime shone like a beacon of resilience. A world that had teetered on the edge of destruction now thrived, its people ready for whatever the galaxy could throw at them. The predators would return, perhaps stronger and smarter, but the Zentarians would be ready. Humanity had not only saved a planet, they had built hope, courage, and strength that would endure long after the humans had gone. The galaxy, often indifferent to the struggles of distant civilizations, would remember this event. It would remember that when a world faces extinction, humanity's Deathworlders could arrive, not as conquerors, but as saviors, teachers, and catalysts of survival. They left behind a planet stronger than before, a civilization wiser, and a legacy that would inspire countless generations. And somewhere in the vastness of space, the human fleet continued its journey, searching for the next world in need, ready to bring courage, knowledge, and the indomitable spirit of survival wherever they went. Zentarian Prime would never forget them. Humanity's Deathworlders had come, and in doing so, they had proven that survival, courage, and adaptability were the greatest forces in the galaxy.